Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Sealeze number F545CLA40BL is what this is. So this is a very large piece of angled style bristle weather strip. Okay, this would be very appropriate for use on, well, where people buy this is in overhead door applications. If you notice an overhead door, it's going to have angled weather strip at the jambs, and would not be unheard of to see it applied up at the header as well. It's very typical and common to see it applied there. So in a jam setting, and we'll show this to you in a moment, a little bit clearer, but your door will ride right in here if I'm holding it, kind of vertically. If I'm holding it, looking at it in a cross section on the camera. So it would look like this in elevation. Okay, my door is here. My door rides in here. So that would be an application. I also see this used as a sweep on sliding doors, believe it or not. This bristle is very effective at both of those applications. And the question ultimately may become, why do I need such a long bristle? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, you could have a great length or a great distance that you need to cover, and you simply need long bristles for that purpose. Or you may not have such a long length, but you may have a corrugated style roll-up overhead door where, because it's corrugated, you need to have the ability to get those bristles to contour over the individual, corrugated feature of the overhead door. We have sold large bristle like this to people that have aircraft hangars, to people with overhead doors, even to zoos in the elephant enclosure, where they want to just seal off large, like 40-foot long sliding doors, things of that nature. So this is the F545CLA. The F545 is representative of the series of what this is, meaning it's this large aluminum and angled holder along with a robust bristle. The CLA stands for clear anodized. The 40 stands for the length of the bristle, which is 4-inch, and then BL for black. Okay, this is clearly just a 6-inch sample piece. This is a sample piece. It happens to be 6-inch in length. Bristle is very effective because its ability to contour. Okay, if my finger is represented in a regular surface, you can see how well the bristle does at getting inside of and between all of those areas, and that's what bristle is really used for. This material is a very high quality material. Let me tell you more about that. The material, the bristle in this series is going to be is nylon based. Nylon is a superior product when compared to the less expensive polypropylene that is used in other manufacturers' material. So nylon is going to be a standard product that will be used in the applications when you have the requirement for a very heavy duty, a very robust bristle material, which is going to be typically used in very industrial type applications. So a better way to say that is the difference between nylon and polypropylene is that nylon is rugged and particularly appropriate for aggressive applications such as rolling, sliding industrial doors or these overhead door applications. It is empirically understood that nylon has the longest life and best bend recovery of all synthetic filaments, and that when you are ordering a large piece like this, the manufacturer is not going to make available polypropylene in these applications like the F series, where they're intended for aggressive applications. The bottom line also is, when you look at the difference between nylon and polypropylene, is the cost. Substantially less expensive by a factor of almost 50%. Polypropylene is less expensive than nylon, and where I think it is most appropriate to consider the Sealeze product when it comes to aggressive applications, heavy-duty applications that are going to take a lot of use, is that when it comes to exposure to ultraviolet, nylon is more resistant to exposure to ultraviolet because of the chemical structure of polypropylene. It has and this is the important part, it has a high degradation rate when exposed to UV, which is basically sunlight. In weather seal applications, there's never been a problem with it as well. And what will separate Sealeze from the competition is the fact that, according to engineering at Sealeze, their nylon has a carbon black filament, which is UV rated. Not only making it good for, of course, general weather seal applications, but the reason it's good for general weather seal applications is the UV additives that are added, that the UV additive property that is inherently the black carbon black filament. So to buy a piece of weather stripping and to order it in such with such an insert that is going to be known to be susceptible to degradation from exposure to ultraviolet is, vinyl will break down and it will look like it dries out. Here in this southern climate that I am in very southern Florida, to say that you can basically tan in total cloud cover is a very accurate statement. It's a true thing. UV rated clothing is very common down here as well. You can, once you know what it looks like, you can spot people wearing it. So in order to purchase a polypropylene product that's going to be used in a ultraviolet intense application like a southern climate, I just question the initial investment when it's almost 50% less expensive than a high quality nylon like this, and then have to be faced with a relatively short amount of time later having to replace it because it's just simply degraded, to me is nonsensical. So let's switch to the to the screen view where we can take a closer look at this particular item. Okay, so this is the item that we're looking at. And extended description information is here down below. They give dimensional properties, and yes, that's a 45-degree angle that's there with a 4-inch length on the brush. Type 6 nylon thermal brush. That's thermal brush is what Sealeze calls their heavy-duty nylon UV, black carbon black fiber. Seals up to some really large gaps. This is the heaviest brush seal available. The G-series brushes seal out elements around large industrial rolling steel doors, sectional doors, and other large service doors, including aircraft hangar doors. UL rated for use on 3-hour fire doors. Probably unlikely that, well, actually no, not at all. You could certainly have 3-hour sliding factory-style doors. So therefore you can use it on those doors that are notoriously obviously very poorly insulated. Gasketed, I should say. They're probably extremely well insulated. Now, here's the dimensional property shown on this item, and we'll touch on this before we wrap up this video. Okay, 1.5 inches long on this leg, and then the length of the brush is 4-inch. We can obtain some additional information on the installation tips link, which is basically, measure, cut to length, install, things of that nature. Not a lot to really consider there. However, what I will add, and I don't believe it's mentioned here, is when you're going to cut the brush and holder to length, there are 3 different types of material in this weather stripping. There's nylon, as we know. There's aluminum, as we know. But there's also steel, and the steel is the banding that holds the nylon folded over together. So be mindful when you cut this. Don't run it through your 80-tooth, 10-inch diameter miter box saw. You're going to hit some steel there, so cut that with the proper tool to do so. Let's look at the manufacturer's page here, where you can pull up the product catalog, and I want to carry over with us the part number. And when we search for the part number in the catalog, we're immediately going to find the page where this belongs. You're going to see the F545. So F545, it's actually on the second page. It's on the table up here. So F545 is this large unit right here. Okay, all of this. 1.5, 2 inch, 2.5, 3, 4, 5 inch. That's a reference to exactly what they're doing with the last 2 digits in the part number. Okay, it's a 45-degree angle holder, which would be very appropriate for overhead doors. And then you have the length of the bristle. Okay. The F545 is specifically going to give you that 1.5 inch length, whereas the G series, gives you a 1 inch length. Which one you'll end up using is based on your application. Okay. You can see that there are 90-degree holders as well. The F590. So now you can start to figure out, well, F590, that's a 90-degree. F545, that's 45-degree. And these ones that have an 80 in it, that's just 180-degree. That's how that works. Really nice quality material. Let's show an idea of where we would probably end up using weather stripping like this. So imagine that you have your jamb offal. This is a, 18-foot wide overhead door. You have your track here. Your overhead door roller is going to fit inside of here. It's going to be connected to the side of your overhead door. And you get the picture. Well, this holder sits here. Okay? That bristle gets out here. And that's how that works. You want to have a 45-degree angle, because if you had just a straight, that's just not going to work very well. You want this bristle to be able to fold over and not present itself with so much resistance as an obstacle when it's hitting at 180 degree. So that's why you'll see it in a 45-degree angle, and very effective when it's installed this way. Okay, let's wrap up this video on camera and take a quick review of the dimensions of this item. Okay, now we can kind of wrap this up, take a look at the dimensional properties. They say it's 1.5 inches. My tape measure says that that's spot on. Then we have the length of the bristles that are here at 4 inch. Yeah, that's right as well. That's that steel holder I was talking to you about. You want to be sure not to run your beautiful miter box saw into that. That's for sure. They obviously have probably an air tool that cuts and crimps it at the same time. And then what you do is when you get the material, once it's positioned exactly how you like it, you are going to crimp. Well, I would probably attempt to do it from the back side. I might peen that because I don't want that to slide over time, but at the same time I want to be able to undo the process or reverse the process so I can slide that out should I need to in the future. Okay, maybe something gets damaged and torn off, things of that nature. I doubt it's going to degrade prematurely, that's for sure. It is standard practice that Sealeze includes hex head self-drilling screws. You don't have to ask for these with Sealeze. That's what you're going to get. Your holes are slotted, and that obviously allows you to tailor the positioning of the unit on the door, which is, you need to have the ability to tailor where the material is in comparison to what it's working, making contact with, so that you have proper contact. Not too little, not too much, obviously. That link below this video to the manufacturer's page will allow you to get to the manufacturer's catalog within our site, all the Sealeze products that we sell. and a link to the manufacturer's website as well. Sealeze is a manufacturer of bristle material exclusively, and they make material for very interesting applications. I happen to know that they manufacture a bristle weather seal for the turret of an M1 Abrams tank. So that company, Sealeze, or whomever is their umbrella top-level corporation, is called on for some very interesting applications. And my logic is, well, if they can weather seal that turret, they can help me with my overhead door. So anyway, any questions on the F545CLA40BL or any other Sealeze product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.